Yeah! Well, now the gavel's calling. Let's get this session started. Hey, folks, grab a seat. It's time to get the scoop. Bakers in session, serving justice with a whoop. From sunny Cali courts to the heartland's dusty halls, we'll spin the yarns of trials big and small. Oh, Baker in session, tales old and brand new. Some make you laugh, some will leave you in a stew. Gavels dropping beats, witnesses take the stand. Join the fun, y'all, across this great land. Hey. Classic papers like OJ or that moonshine bust. Fresh headlines steaming hot, in Baker we trust. Murder in the Midwest, scams down south so sly. We'll break it down with grins, no need to cry. East Coast embezzlers, West Coast wild rides. Supreme Court showdowns where the big shots collide. From petty thefts to plots that twist and turn, Baker's got the stories that'll make you learn and burn. Oh, Baker in session, tales old and brand new. Some make you laugh, some will leave you in a stew. Gavels dropping beats, witnesses take the stand. Join the fun, y'all, across this great land. Famous folks in hot seats, underdogs who win. We'll cheer the verdicts, dive right in. Coast to coast adventures in the name of the law. Baker's here to share it without a single flaw. Hit subscribe, don't miss the legal ride. Baker in session where the laughs collide. Fade out, radio roll.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, what if any you might be, and welcome to Baker in Session, our show where we go over a few little topics because it's Sunday and we just need to catch up on a few things that I promised you. We'll do the sentencing in the Soto case, and Mike yesterday had found some really good PR material from the company Cellebrite. We're going to look a little bit at that. Just because it's Sunday, your blood pressure should be high. Yeah, Deirdre. And the Goodmans. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Marianne. Where the hell did I put it?
Yo, stop the chat. It's a birthday vibe and we're all in that. Could've gone out, could've chilled offline, but you showed up and that's just fine. No balloons, no big parade. We've got part of this crew homemade. The happy freaking birthday right here live. You showed up, now we thrive. Cake emojis in full attack. Streams on fire, no turning back. On your birthday, and you're here. That's legendary behavior. Thanks for showing up today. This stream's your party, press replay. No balloons, no big parade. We've got better this crew homemade. The happy freaking birthday right here live. You showed up, now we thrive. Cake emojis in full attack. Streams on fire, no turning back. On your birthday, and you're here. That's legendary behavior. Thanks for showing up today. This stream's your party, press replay.
Happy birthday, Marianne, and thank you for spending some of it with us. 23 never looked better. Stop lying. You are not a day over 23. And thank you so much for spending it with us, and thank all of you for wishing her a happy birthday. Hey, Fedorowski. But as promised, the Soto sentencing from I believe it was Thursday he got his sentencing. Gina, stop it. Stop all of this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. This is a freestyling show. We're going to do something else in a bit.
Conclusion after the weighing process. The court has carefully weighed the aggravating and mitigating circumstances as to each murder individually. The court's weighing process can be summarized as follows. As to Tanya Wise, there are 2 aggravating factors that are entitled to very great weight. As to the unborn child, there are 3 aggravating factors that are entitled to very great weight. As to the mitigating factors, the cumulative weight of the mitigation is entitled to moderate to great weight. As to each murder, the court finds that the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating circumstances. As required by law, this court has given great weight to the jury's recommendation. The court's weight analysis in this case, with its acknowledgement of significant yet outweighed mitigation, is a reflection of the jury's 8-4 vote for death as to each of the murders. The court's independent evaluation of the case herein leads to the conclusion that the death sentence is the appropriate and just sentence as to each victim. Therefore, Jose Soto Escalera, I hereby sentence you to death for the first-degree murder of Tanya Wise. I also independently sentence you to death for the first-degree murder of her unborn child. I hereby order that you be taken by the Sheriff of St. Lucie County to Florida State Prison for close and secure confinement until the date of your execution, at such time as scheduled by the Governor of the State of Florida at the place of execution named in his warrant of execution. You shall be put to death by the means provided by Florida law at that time, and may God have mercy on your soul. You are hereby notified that the sentence of death is subject to automatic review by the Supreme Court of Florida. The court finds you continue to be indigent and hereby appoints the office of the public defender to represent you on appeal. And that is the sentence of the court, and that will end this case. Thank you all.
God have mercy.
So, no big surprise. He was recommended by 8-4 in a 12-man jury to sentence him to death. This guy got 2 death sentences. So, he's going to be a guest of the state for a very long time while all the automatic appeals runs through, while he'll try and fight for his life. Probably harder than he fought not to unalive his, let's just be honest, his F-buddy and his unborn child. The most tragic thing in all of this, I think, is the kid was 8.5 months. It was totally viable. So yes, this is, if we don't have the death penalty, so I don't have to have a moral stance on it per se. But if your state have the death penalty, this is one of the cases where I believe that it would be correct to do it. I know the death penalty is an ethical, moral thing for a lot of people to fight with, but still, I believe, following the law in Florida, this was the correct sentencing. Yeah, well, it could be 20 years, or he could take it and get out of here. We don't know. That defense attorney was an idiot. There are so many legitimate reasons that he could have argued, but instead went around and insulted everyone. I don't think there's many legitimate reasons he could argue, because he did unalive a woman, and he did, by unaliving her, unalive a kid. So I don't think there's a lot of reasons not to unalive him. This man he hasn't been a choir boy doing all the good stuff. But I agree with you. His closing arguments was some of the worst I've seen, especially in a capital case. The "you are the killers now" argument is just a dumb argument to go into. Well, thank you, Kiki K. Well, he did what he believed was the right thing, and that's always the thing. Lawyers are human too. Lawyers are not always the greatest. This is a public defender from the public defender's office who specializes in death penalties. So he knows his job, but I think he chose the absolutely wrong strategy to try and give the jury a guilty conscience, especially because they had just found him guilty. I think that was absolutely the wrong way to go about it. Yeah, but they changed the law in Florida, so it's just a majority now. I would tend to agree with you. If you go for it, yes, it should be everyone. Well, he could have gone the moral route with his argument. Well, he kind of did, because he did. He's not allowed to kill, but you're allowed to kill by killing him. He just did it in a way where it was so poorly argued that you're wondering why he chose that, and go around and calling the jury killers is probably not the best idea ever. He tried to do the moral argument, but he was just really bad at it. Have I watched Dave? Not recently. Well, I love that a lot of you people come into my videos and say, "Hey, Mr. Live." No, it's a video. So I do. If they have that short intro, it's videos. But thank you all so much for watching them. No. I agree. We are not disagreeing. It was a horrible closing, horrible. But I think he was trying to do the moral thing was not to take another life just because he took lives, but he just argued it in a way that he couldn't have won in a high school debate class. Yeah, but that's a moral thing. Everyone has their own opinions about the DP, and that's how it is. We don't always agree on everything, and we don't have to. We don't know. This lawyer might be a normal guy who likes to dunk his donuts, and you who like many others. I like Weigel's chocolate milk. It's a good chocolate milk. Yes, we covered when he called his client an idiot the other day. But it was also, I love that some people instantly dropped down and said, well, he's cheating him. No, he was sitting and talking, and it wasn't about this client. It was just chit-chatting, and someone overheard something, took it out of context. Have that ever happened to anyone before? But this guy, he needs to run with it. He needs to try and get anything in there. But the case is over, buddy. It's too late. You should have said that before if you wanted him kicked off. Fedorowski is from Norway. But another thing now, it is just the more loosely formatted show. I don't know if any of you saw this. Braden Carney, who is I think he's just a clickbait engagement farmer, because you might not know this, but on the Twitch, you can get paid just by having engagements on your channel. I think you need 5 million in 3 months or something like that, and have X amount of followers. I don't know. I don't get paid by Twitch, but almost every day he puts out like 4 or 5 of these tweets that he knows will get high engagement. Karen is a killer. Karen said this. So people will go in and say, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying, which gives him engagement, which pumps his numbers. That's the same way we put clickbaits on our thumbnails, so you will go in and watch our videos because views gives us money. But I know I'm a misogynist because I get called that a lot. But how is this not sexist? Comparing these two women to each other. And one, you're comparing a woman who was sitting at home in her night clothes, not expecting Popo to show up, to a lady who is clearly in a photo shoot, who have had her hair done, who got her nice clothes on. This is probably 1 out of 5,000 photos that was taken of her in just this pose alone. Why do you compare the looks of women like this? Is it because women who are hot are smarter? Is it women who just stepped out of bed are dumb? I really don't get all of these antis because they are always sitting there and talking about, well, Aiden is he hates women and Baker is a misogynist and all of this. But at the same time, they all celebrate when someone demeans people like Karen Reed because of her looks. And now this Bibi Fell, who I guess none of them have ever looked 2 seconds on her website other than they saw, oh, she got $105 million settlement. No, that was actually a sentencing. But no one has ever looked into her past like we did yesterday when I looked a little bit at her body of work. But now, because she's a hottie, she's a smarty. How is this not? Why aren't all the women in the anti-Reed side calling this out, talking about these double standards? Because they're always really fast to call us out and say, well, you're just you're a misogynist, you're a hater, you're this and that, and you're only attacking people because they're women. But your own people are looking and giving weight to a woman based on her looks. Yes, I know that there is a beauty privilege because it has been proven in psychological studies that beautiful people will get higher grades. Beautiful people, or people who are presumed to be beautiful, are normally seen as more intelligent. But when you're sitting and you're the of oh, we're so good, we are so nice, is this really how you should be treating women? Marianne, thank you so much. Thank you for happy birthday. No, thank you for spending your birthday with us. Oh, Panilla has a birthday too. Panilla, were you here when we played the birthday song? Or can I just say, I dag det Pernilles fødselsdag. Hurra, hurra, hurra. Hun sikret sig en gave for, som hun har ønsket sig i år, med dejlig chokolade og kager til. Hvor smiler hun, hvor er hun glad. Hurra, hurra, hurra. Men denne dag er også rar, for hjemme venter mor og far med dejlig chokolade og kager til. Congratulations, Pernilla. That's the Danish song, which is superior to the Swedish, which is probably just go under your bridge, you troll. It's your birthday, don't you know? Sit and scare the kids. Sweden is the worst. That's the Swedish birthday song. Because stupid people actually believe real women look like the filtered version they use. That's another thing. I saw one yesterday. Sometimes I wish I remember to save things, because this was this lady showing you how much you can change just by changing the lighting alone. And I do the same. I give myself some color because at this time of year, yeah, I'm as pale as a ginger in a snowstorm. So we all do it, but it's just I find it so disingenuous. Yes, pretty privileged. Women are misogynistic too, probably worse than men at most times. No one hates women as women do. And that's sadly the truth, because you'll see it all the time. If a woman has a little bit of success, there will almost instantly be a woman saying, well, you can always blow your way to the top or stuff like that. And I feel it's sad, especially sad that these assholes are comparing a clear photo shoot with a woman in the worst part of her day. But sadly, there's a reason why they are on the anti-Karen Reed side, because they lack critical thinking. That's probably what's their problem is. Yeah, and I bet you Bibi, when she's not sitting in a photo studio with the soft lighting, when she's back home and the light is a little bit like this out in the sun, yeah, you can tell that she has a few more wrinkles than she does in her photo shoots, because of course we try and make us look the best we can. Oh, they did this with Hank as well. That's so dumb. They are so dumb. If you appear in police body cam photos, you aren't living your best moments. No, you're not saying, oh, sorry, can I just... I'm wondering if Paul O'Keefe will make glazed donuts for the new California lawyer. I don't think she collects trash. Let me be honest. A woman who landed $105 million settlement, even though it wasn't her but her company, she got a pretty good paycheck. That's why she made her own company right after. Since she made her own company, she has made several $5 million. And if the rate that we heard yesterday, I think it was Holly Mack who said that they get 30%, that's 1.5 million of each of those settlements. That leaves a little bit of money when she pays for her time and her staff. So I don't think she is going to Massachusetts to find well, I don't know if he drinks anymore, but a DUI guy who are suing his brother's girlfriend because he just want money. I'm just confused why she would want to take over a losing case. I had the same discussion yesterday when I talked about her, because if she comes in to try and land a settlement, that could be a thing, because the insurance companies doesn't want this to go to trial. They want to take a settlement. So a low ball offer, and the insurance company will say, well, it's this is what we're going to do, but no admission of guilt and total non-disclosure. And that would also free up Karen Reed to sue the state and the police department and the McAlberts. So I could see she's there to come in and try and do that, but I don't know. It's maybe she just wants the fame. Maybe she just wants to be the one who came in and did what Hank Brennan couldn't do and get a conviction. Who knows? I haven't heard her speak. I haven't seen her talk in papers or anything. So we'll have to wait to see her in court to see what is she made out of. Because she could be a dud. She could be really great and really dangerous. But we'll have to wait and see. Likely just the boss will settle their money grab. Karen Reed's insurance company would love to settle as well. They don't want to spend all this money going to trial. If they get a low enough offer, and again, do Karen Reed really want to go to trial in 2-3 years against the O'Keefe family? I don't think so. A lot of people said, well, she wants the discovery. There's no discovery to be had against the O'Keefe family. If she could get the O'Keefes out of this and she could just sue the state and the McAlberts, that's a whole different story. That's the big one that everyone is waiting for. The O'Keefes, I know everyone wants them to fail and be miserable, but I just don't see any upsides to fighting them as well, because you can put a crying niece on the stand, and you just have to have 50.00000000001% guilty, and she will get convicted. So I would try everything I could to just chuck the family out of there with a written statement that there was no admission of guilt, that Karen Reed didn't admit to doing anything wrong, and this is just a monetary settlement. No non-disclosure. Ciao. See you later. But I don't see why she want to go against AJ, because AJ is not the one who's going to run the wrongful death part of the case. That's not his specialty. AJ is a criminal lawyer. This one is a civil lawyer. So they're not going to go face to face, because this is not what AJ does normally. He defends criminals or people who have been accused of crimes. That's what AJ normally handles. He doesn't handle personally injury cases like she does. It'll be one of Karen's other lawyers who do that. It's the same with people saying, why isn't Dave Yannetti part of the team? It's not his cup of tea. This is not what Dave Yannetti does. You have to specialize as a lawyer. And this is a wrongful death case. It's a civil suit. This is not how he operates. Of course, he knows how the case works, but it's kind of like playing baseball. You have to have a certain amount at bats every year to keep your ability to track the ball. So she's not going to go head to head with AJ. AJ is not there to fight the O'Keefes. AJ is there to fight the state and the McAlberts. Yeah, and that has nothing to do with the O'Keefes. That's why I'm saying, could they get the O'Keefe out of this, get the entire emotional part out of this? There would be a win-win. Every insurance company would take a settlement any day of the week as long as there's no admission of guilt. Yeah, he's a criminal defense attorney. He's not fighting a civil case for a wrongful death. I guess the O'Keefe think Proctor did a good job. Why? I don't know. No, there's no connection between them. Yeah, but he's still not going to go into a civil wrongful death. He's there for the, what's it called, 1883 case. The case against the state. That's his. When he signed on, he said, this is what I'm here for. And that's the suit against the state and the McAlberts and the police department. It has nothing to do with the O'Keefes. So you have to remember there's so many compartments in these trials, because you have the Bars and the Bars and Karen being sued by the O'Keefes, and Karen hasn't done it yet, but she has notified the court that she's gonna do it. Is going to sue the McAlberts, the MSP, the DA's office, but that has nothing to do with the O'Keefes. So again, there's a lot of different building blocks putting into this Lego, and the more you can get out of it, the more easy it'll be to put a case together. Busak was hired by Karen Reed's insurance. I don't know who Busak was hired by, because that's a criminal case. Again, because that's related to her phones. That's the potential conspiracy to commit harassment, witness harassment. So again, there's so much Oh, that because they are not suing Proctor like they should. But the problem is Proctor is a lot of protected. He's a police officer, and you have to prove that he didn't do his investigation correctly. Is it really, really easy to land a settlement with the police department? Not in a case like this. It's really easy to land a settlement with a bar. That's the money ticket. Just threaten the insurance company, they'll pay out. Ciao, see you later. The problem is they filed it between the first and the second trial, and a lot of the arguments they use in the suit was kind of destroyed during the second trial. So good luck with that. But Proctor, as a police officer, he'll testify, I did whatever I had to do. I looked at the scene and I found the evidence and I did everything by the book. My investigation wasn't tainted. My personal life was tainted because I had animosity towards Karen Read, which actually made me look harder for something to prove she did it against Karen Read, which would be in the benefit of the O'Keefe family. It'll be really, really hard for them to get anything over with Michael Proctor. Even though, hey, again, I'm just, don't take it for I believe that. That's just how I think this would be playing out in court, because apparently had to preference a lot of things so people don't think that's what I believe. But it'll be really hard because if they sue Michael Proctor, they lose him as a witness against Karen Read as well in the wrongful death suit. Yeah, but most of these cases will end up with a settlement because you can spend 3 years sending your lawyer, sending paper, doing whatever you have to do, which would potentially cost you, this is not the right number. It's going to cost you $100,000 to run this case. We all know it's way too little. Then the opposition comes in and says, okay, we'll settle for $75,000. We'll sign a paper that you don't admit to having any guilt in this case, and we'll sign a non-disclosure so no one can ever talk about what happened. And you're sitting at your Excel spreadsheet and saying 100,000 or 75,000. Okay, I'll take the 75,000 because I earned 25,000 doing that. Because you will spend the same money on lawyers. So it's way easier to just settle. You'll see that in a lot of cases out there. Busang was absolutely horrendous. He wasn't ready for the arguments. But let's go into another part of the Karen Read case, because I was actually quite surprised when I saw this over on Mike's channel yesterday. And it was so horrendous that I want to share it with you guys. This is, as far as I can see it, the official Cellebrite YouTube channel. First of all, before we even started, take a look at this. You have horrible, horrible green screen. Their names are not easy to read. I don't know what the lighting in these pictures. You have a big wide surface and then two faces in it. This is a company that sells digital solutions to the popo, which means they should have one or two people working for them who knows a little bit about graphic. But sadly, this is what Cellebrite looks like when they are going online to present Ian Whiffen in a PR tour to try and garner some goodwill after doing the Karen Read trial. And no, I'm just going to play it because this is horrible.
Like a super onion.
Infamous Google search, costs long to dying of cold.
Cellebrite updated physical analyzer.
This Google search became a pivotal piece of evidence for the defense.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to us.
This became a pivotal evidence for the defense. Okay.
Special edition of Ask the Expert.
Oh, and can we just those clips in the beginning? I know they say, hey, start with a banger so you keep people's attention. Whatever.
I'm Heather Barnhart, and I'm here with Ian Whiffen, the infamous genius who was tied to the Karen Read trial. We are here for the very first time to discuss this with you.
We are coming on the air with breaking news. Karen.
Ian Whiffen, the infamous witness. Ian Whiffen, you could also say he is the guy who said Cellebrite can't be understood without getting my free software program that 70 people had downloaded at that time. He is the guy working for Cellebrite saying the product he sells is so bad that you need something on, I believe it's on a Swiss website. You need to download that to be able to use Cellebrite, even though Cellebrite is used every single day in courtrooms all over the panel. Yeah.
Read walking out of court with hand over heart and a major win in her murder trial redo.
Just to catch you up, in case you've lived under a rock or avoided social media and the news, Karen Read is a Massachusetts woman who
Danny T, because you would torture me with all the other stuff.
earlier this summer was acquitted of murder in her boyfriend's tragic death. This was her second trial. So Ian, I believe the first trial ended with a hung jury, and it was a mistrial, so she had to go through it twice. You had to go through it twice. More of her background. Her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, was a Boston police officer, and in January of 2022, he was found dead in the front lawn of another Boston police officer's home in a Massachusetts suburb in the early morning hours in the middle of a blizzard. I'm not going to get into the details of all of the basics and the foundation of this case. You have read it, you've heard it. I'm sure Ian will allude more to the digital evidence and what that spoke for. But the prosecution accused Karen of driving drunk and backing into John with her.
Your team was helping the prosecution. Now you're trying to sell this as you are pro Karen Read. This is horrendous. Why would they include that in the video? Are they bragging on how they contributed to losing the case? No. Look at the subtle shift. He's turning into the good guy. There are two videos. The ending of the second video will most likely have Danny T go out and start kissing the pigs.
SUV and then fleeing the scene, leaving him to die in the snow. The defense said that Karen Read was innocent and dropped John O'Keefe off at home and left. They said he was beat up in the home and dumped on the lawn. So this is where the conspiracies really came out. The police officers apparently were involved and covered it up. So everyone has their own opinions. We've seen them all over social media, but that's really the basics of the case. This case is like a super onion with so many layers. The more you peel back, you're like, what is actually happening? It was a media circus, extremely high profile, and our very own Ian Whiffen was kind of the ringmaster at times of that circus. So Ian.
No, he was a laughing stock when he was on the stand. No one really understood what he said, but everyone understood that he had to go back home and change his product because his product showed a result he didn't like. He wasn't the ringmaster. They are selling this as this case was solved because of Ian Whiffen. No one understood 5 words of what he was saying. Totally not a Russian bot. Was the only guy who understood any of his testimony. And no one understood anything on the jury box. Is this AI? No, this is some of the worst green screen I've ever seen, because it hurts my eyes to have this much just flat white on a screen. That's the reason why every monitor I have in my house runs in dark mode, because it's really hard to watch stuff like this. Yeah, he's the ringmaster. Ian is a glowy. Well, he used to be a glowy in England, and then he moved to Canada, and then he started working for Cellebrite. But he really didn't know. He didn't have any police background.
Seriously, I applaud you, one, for your patience and not flipping out. I know many times I wanted to flip out on your behalf, so I was emotionally in this with you, but you did a fantastic job. For those of you that don't know Ian, he's not just the brilliant mind of forensics, he is also our decoding manager here at Cellebrite. So Ian takes all the things that are stored in that lovely brain of his and tries to dump it back into the tools for everyone else that needs Ian's brain to help us solve our digital forensic investigations. All right, Ian, you ready for some questions?
Someone who speak corporate, tell me what that means. He dumps his brain back into the product so everyone can get what Ian needs. What? I didn't understand what she just said. He's a sales rep. He's a fancy sales rep. He's the guy when the customer calls in and says, "Hey, buddy, my program shows horse long to die in the cold." Well, actually, that was it's pronounced the wrong way because it was hose down to die in the cold. Hose long to die in the cold. That's what she was supposed to say because she runs a stable. But this guy is talking to the eggheads and saying, "You have to change this because our customers want this." He's an interpreter between the nerds and the customers. And now he's such a brilliant guy. And this woman looks like Twisted Tragedies when she gets a $2 super chat.
Questions?
I am. Go for it.
And then we'll have some fun at the end too. All right, why were you brought into this case?
Okay. So I initially got involved in this case after a true crime podcaster contacted Cellebrite asking for clarification because of some things that he'd seen in other people's blogs.
Is that correct? Didn't he say he was contacted by, who was it who did the original download, who didn't believe that, who didn't understand why the 237 was in there? Wasn't he contacted by someone who works for the MSP or the CPD? Now he got into the case because a true crime podcaster contacted him. Remember how much noise Brennan made because of the Dr. Russell who saw it in a newspaper and got involved? Now apparently a true crime podcaster reached out to this guy, and this is why he's on the case. And can I just ask, which true crime podcaster was it? The only one who seems to be dumb enough to is Nancy Grace.
Some things that have been tweeted related to an artifact that Physical Analyzer had passed. Basically, police had obviously extracted a bunch of phones at the time of John's.
No, he was already in for the first one.
Death. Done their own analysis, including the analysis of a witness's device, which was written off at the time as not containing anything relevant to the case. About a year later, defense experts took that same extraction and ran it through Physical Analyzer as well, and now found a timestamp which they thought was a smoking gun. The timestamp itself was related to a Google search, the infamous Google search "Hoss long to die in the cold," which is an obvious misspelling of the term "how long to die in the cold." I'll say that this search had actually been found initially by police using Physical Analyzer 752, but at that time,
yes, it was Jessica Hyde who reached out to him. That's the one who reached out to him. Is she a true crime podcaster? Isn't she a highly sought after expert in her own right? And again, it's hose long to die in the cold.
The timestamp attached to it was around 6:23, 6:24 a.m. after John's body had been found and therefore deemed not evidentially significant. However, when the expert for the defense took the same data, they used a newer version of Physical Analyzer. This newer version had additional support. Obviously, we always add support for new artifacts as time goes on. And this new artifact support for a database called Browser State gave a timestamp of 2:27 a.m. For that same Google search. And that's important. 2:27 is a really important time because that would mean that this is around 3.5, 4 hours before John's body was found, implying that somebody had some knowledge that he was outside dying in the cold before anybody should have known that that was the case. So this Google search became a pivotal piece of evidence for the defense to try to prove that someone other than Karen
He was in both trials.
was responsible for John's death.
So a few things. I have many comments on this one. Cellebrite updated Physical Analyzer based upon your research and what you learned in that case, so that people who don't understand how to validate, don't have time to validate, and for better lack of other terms, press buttons to get answers, the answer will be correct in their face going forward.
Yes, I think we always try to provide information which is correct to the best of our knowledge and ability at the time based on the research. We always want to give information which can be verified by the examiners. And in this case, once I started to look at the data and look at the evidence, I determined that the timestamp in the browser state database was related to the time that the tab, so the browser tab actually took focus, and not the time that the search occurred or the navigation event occurred. So essentially, if you imagine opening up a brand new tab at 10 a.m. in the morning, using it to search for 30 minutes or so, visiting numerous web pages during that time, when you eventually close that tab, a record's created in the browser state database saying the tab opened at 10 a.m. The last page that was visited, the one that was visited at like 10:30, is this. So there's no correlation between the two. And that's essentially what my research was focusing on, that timestamp is not necessarily the time the page was visited. It could be before, it could be after, but it's irrelevant to the actual URL. So based on that, we updated.
And that's another thing. It could be before, it could be after, which means that this could also have been done, let's say, at 1 o'clock when the kids had left the house and John was in a snow pile outside. The search could have been done at that time. So why are you putting on a show where you tell the world the digital forensic tool is so inaccurate that we cannot tell you at what time? And if it could have been before or after that time, why couldn't it also be at that time? Why is he saying it couldn't have been at 2:37, but it could have been before and after? What removes the possibility for it to be at 2:37? This is a PR push from a desperate company who got slammed. Their stocks got a massive beating after Whiffen went on trial. Now they're coming out to try and use this. This video had less views than I normally make on my videos, which is around 500. I believe when I looked yesterday, it had 465 views. It'll probably have way more today because people will go in there and probably write some comments, maybe some downvotes. What do I know? But this is your PR tour. You're trying to rehabilitate this bozo over here. First of all, you're using shitty green screen and low-res cameras. You're a tech company. I paid around $200 for a 4K video camera to record me. You should have at least the same equipment. You should be able to, because this is filmed and edited before it went out, you should be able to get it in as high a resolution. I have to rely on 1080 because that's what YouTube and StreamYard can work with. I could record it in 4K, but hey, who wants to see my ugly face in 4K? But this is an international recognized leading digital forensic company, and most YouTubers have a better presentation than they do. Don't they have a PR firm who can go in and tell them, this is a really bad idea? And again, her name isn't scaled to it's really bad. No, the audio is absolutely horrendous. And again, it's not like they're sitting like me streaming and 45 things could go wrong. He's sitting in one office, she's sitting in another office, trying to do this verbal blowjob on him to try and reestablish how great he is, because he got a lot of flack for being a bad rep in the first trial. You can get a USB mic like this. This is an Elgato Wave 3, not a sponsor, but I can recommend it. Someone asked me because they want to start a channel. I said, I really like the Elgato system because it's just plug and play and it works. You can fiddle a little bit with it, some equalizers and stuff like that, but just use it without, and it'll be a fine microphone. This costs probably $150. As a business, you can get it way cheaper. Why are we watching amateur hours? This is YouTube videos 10 years ago. Yeah, this probably because a lot of companies have said, your product is so bad, we need a free program to read it. We're going to go to Axiom.
Our decoding to remove any kind of confusion and to ensure that we give you the web page that was visited, but we can't say that this is the time, so we just remove the time altogether because we don't.
And I think that's way better. And something I wanted to comment to some of the social media trolls who have zero digital forensics knowledge in their bodies, but think they know better.
Sorry, lady.
It was visited, but we can't say that this is the time, so we just remove the time altogether because we don't.
And I think
so. Your testimony is we don't know if it happened at this time. We just remove it. That's not what you testified to in court. But listen to what she's going to reply with now.
But we can't say that this is the time, so we just remove the time altogether because we don't.
And I think that's way better. And something I wanted to comment to some of the social media trolls who have zero digital forensics knowledge in their bodies, but think they know better than our very own Ian Whiffen. Tools cannot be static in nature. A static tool should never be used in a forensic lab ever because technology.
Sweetheart, I say this with all due respect. Social media trolls is probably not the ones you want to disparage in your videos, because you have an expert, the best guy, our Ian Whiffen, who just said, I can't tell you if it happened at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So we just remove every timestamp except the ones that we left in there. I will bet you dollars to donuts that the combined social media troll-osphere can figure out just as much as your guy can. Of course, we don't have access to the background material, but there's a lot of smart cookies out there. There's a lot of really great investigators, and they don't sit and lie about, well, we took out the timestamp and only took out one of them. Why didn't you take out the rest? I have to sneeze.
Technology is constantly changing. These apps change, browsers change, and we adapt to it. So we have to just keep the research going and keep feeding our tools and making them better.
Of course, yeah. I mean, we have to update our tools constantly to account for bugs that may exist in our software, bugs that may exist in the applications that we're decoding, changes made by vendors, or simply because our understanding changes. And this is a perfect example of where the testing that was originally done focused on a particular use case, but this case brought to light additional use cases and different ways that data can be populated, and the possibility that timestamp probably isn't accurate.
Great. So what you're really saying, Ian, is that Cellebrite chose to make the tool better for users, and we weren't trying to be some part of the giant conspiracy.
No, you chose to remove something because you couldn't swear that it was true or not. But the problem is, your fantastic guy next to you still on the stand said every other timestamp was absolutely okay. It was just the 2:37 you couldn't. Why didn't he say the one at 6:32 was also potentially could have happened at 2 o'clock at night? Because, and that's another thing that when I saw this yesterday, and I know I rumbled with it back when the trial happened, why would Karen Reed ever go over to Jen McCabe after John has been removed? Because he's gone by 6:32. I believe he leaves the scene at 6:27. I can't be wrong. It's a little while back. Why would she go over and say, hey, Jen, hose long to die in the cold? And Jen says, I'm sorry. Yeah, hose long to die in the cold. Well, let me Google it. Oh, I wrote hose long to die in the cold. Let me hose long to sickle in the cold. Why would Karen Read? We saw her on the scene running around like a lunatic, screaming. Why would her first thought be, Ho longs to die in the cold? Wouldn't it be, I have to get to the hospital? Or wouldn't it be, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead, he's dead. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And why did you keep changing your story? Because when you found out that if you had really been in the backseat of the cruiser when you Google it, it would have been on tape. Why did Kerry Roberts lie about it? I'm going to say this without any proof of anything, and this will come as a surprise. 623 is not 632. Again, it's a little while back. I might get something wrong. But everyone, please hold on to your tables and put your butts square in this. I'm going to say something right now that will be probably the biggest shock for everyone. I think Jen McCabe is lying. Yes, I think Jen McCabe is a liar. I know it's hard for some of you to hear, and I'm sorry that I know she's just a normal soccer mom out here doing soccer mom things with some peanut butter and bread frozen in the back seat. So, because that's the thing we do. But I'm just saying, I believe whenever Hose Long to Die in the Cold happened, Karen Read was nowhere near her. I don't believe that Karen Read ever even thought about Hose longing to die in the cold. I believe that was all Jen McCabe. And I know it's going to be detrimental to some of you. You will stop following this channel now. But I'm just saying, I think, and it's hard for me to admit, but most of the McAlberts are lying SOBs. That's just what I'm saying. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know, yeah. I'm sorry, Katie. I know you had higher hopes for me. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get the next voodoo doll. Yeah, it's been really hard for me to keep it in. I'm so sorry. I know. I did tell you to sit down before I go. It was irony, Leia. She's just a normal crime cover-upper. I just, especially with this horrible PR stunt that they are out here doing, saying, well, you can't actually never really tell anything with Cellebrite. I don't believe that, and I know I talked a lot about it during the trial, that I wanted to go back and see the time frame on the dash cam when she claimed she was sitting in the back of the car. And I think we did it, and she wasn't in the back of the car at that time. They were actually on the camera. So already there, you can tell she's not truthful. But how bad have the reviews been from your customers that they have to do this? Having this lady has way too much light directly into her face, and this guy is sitting on a potato cam. Jeepers.
Of Karen Read.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we would never modify our decoding or our tool for any other reason than to do what we think is forensically best. We want to give the users the information that we believe is accurate. And in this case, this particular artifact is super easy to validate. You can get any test device and test this out yourself. If we were to modify our software for any kind of nefarious purpose, it wouldn't take long before users realized and quite rightly took us to task for doing things wrong. Like we only do things because we think it's right.
Well, Ian, I thank you for your time and what you do for this community and for our viewers. Next up, part 2. We're going to discuss testifying in court.
So it's really easy to certify this artifact. It's really easy, really easy. But he just never really did it because he couldn't tell when, where, and how anything happened. I wouldn't, again, this is not financial advice, but I wouldn't be buying stocks in Cellebrite in the future because I have a weird feeling that this will have some backlash. Right now, it has 704 views on the second part of the video, and the first video. Shut up. The first one has 1,300, so it has doubled the amount yesterday. And the only one who has commented is a fat Dutchman who said, "Lol, bad look for a company who apparently has a product that needs a free program to be interpreted." I don't know who that guy is. He sounds smart. But
this was another level.
I wouldn't put my 401k in Cellebrite stocks right now because this is apparently really, really bad. So they have to go out and try and save it. CEO of Cellebrite, approximately 19 years, stepped down at the end of 2024. They are probably out then to try and butter up someone to take them over. I don't know. I'm not a finance guy. That's probably more for Mike. But with a PR push like that and a CEO who left, it could be that they're potentially hoping that someone will come and give them an offer. And they have to clean up this little bit of problem. Good thing before I go. You should invest them into Broken Baker Media. I'm sure that all of my hoodies will rise insanely in price. So just buy $1 million worth of hoodies. At least use Canva. I use Canva all the time. Whose channel was that? This is the original OG Cellebrite account. It's Cellebrite's YouTube account. I can show you. Cellebrite. Empowering public safety agencies and companies across the globe with advanced digital investigative solutions to accelerate justice. They have 4,000 subs less than I do. Oh, they have a 20,000. Oh, they have gone viral on that one. And then they have Tips Tuesday using Streamline to insert UFED. Final call for papers for the C2C user. There's a lot of great stuff in here. So they had a public display 2 months ago. We want to hear from you. What topic do you want us to cover? Or what questions do you have? Send us your suggestions. 2 thumbs up, and no one replied. So let's just say in grifter speak, they are not doing well with their videos. No, we should never change anything for high-profile case. Only if you can be more precise. Because it's the only timestamp they removed was that one critical timestamp. The rest of them they didn't find any problems with. They apparently have a history of falsely claiming to have helped the FBI on iPhones, which they didn't. We use them constantly in Denmark. We use them in almost every case. And I've never, ever heard anyone contend any of the findings until this. And it could just be a bad code. It could be, well, we got this in that made a bad reading. But why are you, 3 months after, are you putting this horrible woman in to try and deify Ian Whiffen, who was the laughingstock of the trial? Only the Blue Man Group was made more fun of than he was.
This was another level.
Let the evidence speak to you.
Karen saying that I was right is...
I just saw this tweet.
Karen saying I was right was...
I knew I was right with it.
So what do you think?
Jesus Christ. I'm sorry, I have to do this. Cellebrite net worth. How much money is Cellebrite worth? Come on. They are worth $4.5 billion. $4.5 billion. Invest $100 into the Broken Baker, and I will give you some pointers of not looking like complete amateurs online. There are free YouTube videos who can teach you about backgrounds, lighting, stuff like that. $4.5 billion. They made their Q2 earnings was 150 million. 150 million. And this is the production they put on their website.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for part 2 of this special edition of Ask the Expert. I'm Heather Barnhart, and I have with me again Ian Whiffen, and we're discussing the Karen Read case. If you didn't watch part 1, go back and spend the time to understand how Ian got involved in this case, some of the chaos behind it, and what the key digital evidence actually was. So Ian let the evidence tell the truth, and he simply testified to that truth.
If you watched the first video, which we just did, none of those questions would be answered in full. None of them.
In part 2, we want to focus on that. So Ian was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But in addition to this, was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. To focus on that. So Ian was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But in addition, so Ian was amazing in court. The judge was even smiling at you, Ian, when you were done testifying. I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But
nope, hitting my head multiple times didn't change. I did hear what she just said. People wanted to give him a round of applause. Does any of you people work with public relations or commercials, or just have a store or maybe a YouTube channel where you try and sell a product? YouTube channels, that's us being the product. If you work at the local bakery, you make a sign saying fresh bagels today. If any of you work with that, can someone tell me how a $4.5 billion company allowed this to ever be put on their official website? We're not talking about some rinky-dink little YouTube channel who got Ian on and just have to fillet him to make him happy. We're talking about a big push to try and say, hey, he was really the good guy in the Karen Reed case, because if you go into Google search terms, Karen Reed is still scoring high, and hopefully most normies have forgotten right now that he was absolutely a laughing stock of the case. So now we're doing this. This video is probably the worst PR stunt I have seen since that YouTuber was trying to explain why he wasn't actually using his shock collar on his dog last week. I know they say any PR is good PR, but don't bullshit a bullshitter. This is rewriting history, and you can't rewrite history if you're not a winner. You were the loser. You're trying to join the winning team now, but you were a loser. Ian Whiffen is a massive loser. That was Aperture. Word is out. Auntie smiled and invited Ian into her private chambers. Yeah. Whoa. They are signaling to their clients that they will do and say whatever in their interest. I actually don't think so, because I saw the ending of this, so I'll get back to that. Isn't a tech company just supposed to be unbiased? Look at the data. This is ludicrous. Yeah, this is, it seems again kind of like they're trying to, hey, hire this guy for more expert testimony. He's really good. He's the best. He won this case. Do I have jury duty anytime soon? I think I do, but I'm not sure. This week, not no. No, the next time I'm in court is the 28th of November, I believe. But I'll be called in regularly just to do like one-offs. Alessi was brilliant when he destroyed him. Yeah, because he couldn't answer any questions where he didn't leave a ton of reasonable doubt. But she's now trying to sell him as the greatest thing since, I don't know, Alan Turing. How does she not know she shouldn't mention that the judge loved him? She doesn't understand how court works, lol. Well, especially, she talked about social media trolls who she wanted to scream at in the first video. And now she's acting like a little fangirl who's the real troll. Thank you, Leah Baker, for becoming a member. Ember. Sliced Wonder Bread. I never had Wonder Bread, so I don't know if it's the greatest invention ever. Is your comment gone now? No, it's under the video 1 is where my comment is. He helped the defense win. Yes, he did, but not on purpose. And that's the funny thing when we'll get to it, sorry. Who's she trying to convince? She's trying to convince people who are goggling Cellebrite and who probably potentially will get a hit on Ian Whiffen and the Karen Reed trial. And now they are trying to get out there and get into the algorithm. So if you type in Ian Whiffen, Cellebrite, Karen Reed, their video will pop. So you'll see that, and oh, he's an amazing witness. I can trust Cellebrite. I can trust Ian Whiffen. Even with their Timu background, it's eye cancer looking at this. This is a. I bet one of you people who work with a little bit of Photoshop could make a better, more engaging background in 2 minutes. Who, if anyone, is sleeping together potentially? I am 100% free of sleeping together with anyone. Lonely, I'm so lonely. What? It was just there. I looked 2 seconds ago.
This case is like a super onion.
Infamous Google search cost long to die in the cold.
Cellebrite updated fiscal analyzer.
This Google search became.
I'm the only one who. Well, there's
pivotal
0
piece of
comments on it,
evidence.
but mine is here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Ask the
So,
Expert.
mine
I'm Heather
is
Barnhart,
here,
and I'm here
even though
with
it says there's
Ian
0
Whiffen,
comments.
the infamous
Well, I'll give you a downvote for that one.
genius.
Stupid.
This was
I hate you now. Who was the biggest loser, Cellebrite or Aperture? I believe Cellebrite, because Cellebrite took a massive hit to their stock prices right after. No, because it said 0. Maybe it's because it's mine, so I have an artifact stored in, or a cookie stored that says it can still read mine. But that's why I gave it a thumb down, because it still said there was 0 comments. Keval, look at this background. Do you think these people who work with data is really tech savvy? Oh, I thought you were offering some. Well, sorry. I'm in bed with 2 120-pound dogs and a cat. You have a 120-pound cat? That's a big cat. Well, I'm not that smart that I can do that, but that's why I give it thumb down. Well, I don't know Nurse Kim. I've never talked to Nurse Kim, but I'm always up for working with people. It's also on LinkedIn. Oh, interesting. There's 2 parts only. Yeah, maybe totally not a Russian can work for them.
another level.
Let the evidence speak to you.
Karen saying that I was right is.
I just saw this tweet.
I knew I was right.
If you, that I think all of us could take. Before we even talk about how you prepared to do that, media chatter everywhere is taking its own life. When you were done testifying, I felt like everyone wanted to give you a round of applause. But in addition to this case taking its own life form, the Karen Reed supporters, all the noise at the courthouse, so much media chatter everywhere, you turned off your notifications. You were getting distracted by all of the noise. Before we even talk about how you prepared to do that, I will say, even in the Idaho murder prep, when I asked you, Ian, should I watch these things? Should I listen to these things? You're like, absolutely not. Isolate yourself. That was some of the best advice that I think all of us could take. You need to let the evidence speak to you and not really let social media or the conspiracy theorists out there sway you in one way or another. All right, so we're going to talk about prepping, Ian. Prepping for this case, which we know you spent many, many hours doing.
In Denmark, we say, well, she didn't get flat lips from whistling. It means the same.
If you have not watched Ian testify, it's on YouTube, it's on Court TV YouTube, it's everywhere. I've had many students that come up to me after I teach for SANS and they say, hey, we make all of our new people watch this. Hey, we make even our trained investigators watch this. Because the way Ian can explain extremely technical details to, I think even my dad would understand what you meant, is astounding. So
What? You tell your students to go watch this crap? No one who was in that courtroom understood what he was saying. I had 2 people in my chat who works with IT who understood what he was talking about. And you tell your students that they should go watch this because he's doing such a great job. No one understood hash values, hashtags, punch codes, PIF codes, whatever he was talking about. this is what companies should never ever do. This is companies lying about their own product, which will lend to that company being uncredible. Well, not credible, not uncredible. Uncredible. Yeah, that's the right. Maybe not credible. Incredible, like Bradley Young would have said. This is why you have to be so damn careful, because anyone who will go and watch Ian now will see he was an absolute moron on the stand that no one understood. But you tell everyone to watch him because he's so great. You just painted your entire company with a big face of Ian Whiffen. He's now your official face to the world because everyone should be like Mike. But that's the problem. No one liked Ian Whiffen. I heard no one who liked him. Even the antis, they said, well, he proved it. But I never, ever heard any of them say, well, it's really easy to understand what he's saying. Everyone was saying, what the hell's going on? Green was better than Whiffen, yes. Heather and her husband, I don't know who her husband is, have made the YouTube rounds on the Coburger case. Maybe she just wants to get into true crime. Yeah. Ian's her boyfriend. She introduced him to her dad. Yeah, and he sat down and said, okay, let me show you this spreadsheet. Will you please sing Sandy from Greece today? Please. I never sing when I'm asked to do it. I need to find inspiration in myself. And I did sing earlier today. She makes Cellebrite look like amateurs. This entire video is amateur hour. Absolutely amateur hour. This visual is probably some of the worst I've ever seen. Looking at this, what screams digital expert in this? This is some stock Canva background that they just mirrored on the middle and then put in some it's probably done in no, this is probably StreamYard. No, it's not, because it's probably OBS. And this is the best they can do. It is a laughingstock.
I personally thank you, and I love learning from you and watching you do this, but this is truly the masterclass. If you want to learn how to do courtroom testimony, you watch Ian Whiffen.
No.
I'm going to give you a little applause here. This is also why my family, the kids, think Ian's a doctor, because he's so smart. So he's Dr. Whiffen, according to our household. But I want to break you through, or walk you.
That's not nice. Don't say you have dumb kids while you're live on YouTube. I can say my daughter lives with an idiot, but I don't say my daughter is an idiot.
Through, I should say, key concepts and advice and methodologies you use for people to testify successfully in court. So I'm going to give you your points and then have you just chime in with, what do these actually mean to you?
Sure.
The first one, know your evidence and know it deeply.
So really it's easy to just create a report and present the data. But you really need to understand what that data means. How did that data get on the device? Why is it there? What are the other possibilities that could explain it? Is it deleted? If it's deleted, how is it deleted? All these kind of components that really mean that you understand the data rather than just showing what the data is on the device. Like, did somebody do a search, or is it the result of an autocomplete? Were they at a location, or did they just search for the location? There's so much data you can get from a device that can mean different things. You really need to understand what you're testifying to.
I love that. And I've been feeling the pain of that one myself. All right, next up, identify the make or break evidence. So make or break in quotes.
Yeah, so I think this comes with experience. After a while, you start to recognize not just which artifacts exist, but which are the important ones, which are the ones that you really need to spend additional time validating, verifying, testing, researching. if it's simply like an SMS message, for example, that exists on the device, it's pretty straightforward. We know why the SMS message was there. So it may be really good evidence, but it's also really easy to explain. And I think everybody in the world understands what an SMS message is. But if we're talking about something such as a location, for example, there are multiple reasons the location could be there. It could be really important information, so you really need to know why it's there. And that's why you kind of focus on it and do the additional validation and testing.
Fantastic. All right, now the third one, which I think personally is difficult, and this is where I could let my mind run for days on end. How do you prepare for the toughest questions?
I let my mind run for days on end. Legitimately, I go over all of my reports. I'll just mention as well, my reports are pretty detailed anyway. For example, for this second trial, I did about 150, 160 pages of reports. About half of that was the actual data, and about half of it was the testing, the research, the validation, everything that supported my opinion and my position that I made in my report. So having all that information there is available for the prosecution to read. It's available for the defense to read. Everybody knows where I stand and why I stand there, and it's also useful for me while reviewing my evidence and looking back at it to understand and to remind myself, this is why I have that opinion. I've already tested this. I don't need to think about that too deeply again because it's already on paper. I also try to guess what are the questions that I'm going to be asked. Like, what is the real sticking point of this data? What's the question going to be, and how can I answer it? And there's no possible way that you can cover all bases. There was a few questions caught me out in this trial, but on the whole, I knew what to expect, and I had a good idea what I'd be talking to.
Yeah, I think if you put yourself mentally in both sides of the courtroom, it helps you be a better witness overall.
Oh, for sure. Put yourself in the position of the prosecution, of the defense, and of the jury. Like, do they understand, or are they likely to understand what I'm explaining here? How common is this kind of information to somebody who doesn't work in digital forensics?
Exactly. All right, so based upon that, your fourth tip is
this is such bullshit. Again, great tips, really gonna help. See, I made this in 3 minutes in Canva. This would have been more interesting to look at. You can contact me, Cellebrite. I'll do your background. We even forgot to show the radio circle where John's phone is. Yeah, and he couldn't explain. Well, you have to trust me. He is there at this point, but we can't really say he's there at any point. All of it was such wishy-washy BS that I would never hire that company. I know we use it in courts in Denmark, and it seems to work. But if I was going out there to get a new provider, I wouldn't hire them. It's way easier on the eyes, and that dark blue is their company color. So yeah. Yeah, bright white, because everything gets washed out in a bright white. Again, these guys are digital forensic experts. It's the same with this. You have
to tailor your approach.
You have all of this real estate, and you choose to put such a small text on here.
On each case.
Yeah, this is really about how to conduct the digital investigation. Like, depending on the kind of case, depends on how you approach the data. The example I typically give is if you've got a victim who's found at home, for example, location data may not be relevant because you know where they are, you know where they've probably been most of the time. But if you find a victim out in the middle of the road, in the field, or somewhere unexpected, then location data becomes a priority because you want to know where they were before this location. Similarly, communication data may not be relevant if you're looking at a vehicle collision, for example. But if you're in more of a domestic situation, then communication could be key. So it's really about tailoring how you conduct the investigation, how you write the report based on the kind of investigation it is, to make sure that you're focusing on the right elements.
Exactly. And I also think that we aren't sitting at a desk all day, every day, being investigators and examiners anymore. We are brought in to do specific things and validation and make sense of data that sometimes then expands to everything. So focusing on what's being asked, I think, helps, but then speaking up when something doesn't make sense and needs to lead you down another path.
Yes.
All right, your final one. This is advice I could take in my everyday life. Block out the noise.
Yeah, so this particular case was kind of unique to me. Like I've testified in many cases before.
No, he's clearly looking at his screen that's a little off center. That's why he keeps sitting like this. That's why whenever I get bored and I start doing this is because I'm sitting and reading Twitter and calling people idiots when I do cases, because I need something to occupy my mind. I don't think he has. He probably have some pointers, but he's not reading a teleprompter. But block out the noise, buddy. Your report was done before any of the noise came in. Then you had to go and change your report. But still, what noise did you need to block out? It's who made these videos? Who wrote the script for this? If anyone is reading anything, it's this lady, because as you can see, she's getting cross-eyed on her left eye, reading something on screen. She's not looking at the camera. He's doing the normal thing where he's looking at her on the screen instead of looking at the camera and talking to her. That's why you put your camera on top of your screen where you're seeing it. So it looks kind of like you're looking at you people.
Several of those have been relatively high profile, but this was another level. Personally, I found I had to turn off Twitter. I didn't open Twitter or X for probably about 8 months. I was very careful other social media platforms I was using to block out anything that was related to the case. I didn't want to know, basically. I don't want my kind of opinion to be shifted based on what I'm seeing online. All I want to know is the data that's put in front of me. That is the data that I have to testify to and understand. I don't need that outside influence. So essentially ignore everything apart from the data.
It also didn't help when you had a team of people reminding you of something they saw. I just saw this tweet. It wasn't helpful to you. So we apologize, Ian. We had your back all along.
Well, you didn't, because you just gave him all the noise that he wanted to keep out because you were sitting on the twit. Lady, I'm sorry to say it, but you seem like there's a box wine and true crime in your future.
But that's what you were so firm in your mind on, yep, I'm just going to ignore it. Me, I probably would have poured myself a glass of wine and walked right into that chaos and then cried into my wine glass. So good for you. Seriously.
If this is how you would react, again, lady, you just said it. You're not an investigator. This guy downloads a program, looks at it and says, no, there's no mistakes in it. This is what the evidence shows. Why the hell would you cry over that? It's not like you have to sit and watch the pictures of anything. I'm asking again. Who okayed this at Cellebrite? Whoever is running PR at Cellebrite needs to be fired. I'm not talking about cancel culture, because it's not because anything. It's because they're doing a shitty job. Having this little I don't know what this is. Flirting session between these two people, trying to boost Ian's ego. I don't know what's wrong. Yes, he must have downloaded her phone and found the nudes. I'm so curious how Cellebrite got to be the go-to for digital forensic. It's a really easy product to learn how to use, and it's really easy to read the reports of it because it's very intuitive. It's a good program, no doubt about it. We use it all the time in Danish court systems. It's really easy to read. But Ian Whiffen has told me that you can't trust the product, and now he's the best guy they have on the team. It's I see a lot of problem in their future.
Just down the line.
It's a lesson for all of us. But now we're going to do, historically, this has been called mean tweets. And I remember seeing Peyton Manning reading something awful about himself where someone said he looked like a horse. It was terrible to watch these celebrities.
I just made a horse-faced voodoo doll of Jen McCabe. So I do that too. Have you ever been on social media, lady? If you think that's horrible. Thank you so much, Kat Randall, for gifting a membership to Bridget. Was the lucky winner of a membership. Maybe we should send her the video. Which video? Which one of the video? This is the worst. This is absolutely horrendous. Now, yeah.
Read all of this. Ian, you're a celebrity in our household. So I am going to read these mean tweets or mean X's, whatever we call it, and see what you think about this. And the names are blurred out, okay? If you want, I could tell you, sometimes I can see how many views there were. And there's a cuss word, so I'm going to say beep, okay? Ian Whiffen didn't explain. He misinterpreted data to fit the prosecution's case. He screwed up in the first trial and changed his testimony and the @Cellebrite report for the second trial.
Interesting. I don't believe my position changed at all regarding the Google search in trial 1 and trial 2.
You think this is mean? You should live one day on my twit. I get called a fat Dutch guy who looks like I have Down syndrome. And this is what gets Ian Whiffen to be a hero in your household. I look like I have Down syndrome. Again, ¿cómo está los PR Abteilung como Y video? That's not mean tweets, that's just the truth. Yeah, and just because you say F or shit or whatever you're saying, it's an opinion, bro. And if you can't handle that, you work in law enforcement. Do you know what kind of tweets you see when you download the Cellebrite reports? Do you know what kind of pictures you see? I actually have seen nudes. Well, they were blacked out, but we did see them in Cellebrite report once because she was really fond of sending those to him.
And
but did you manipulate your report?
I presented the data from the device and demonstrated.
I know I said it before we started about people's looks, but her mannerisms is so exaggerated. Look at how she reported. It's so fake.
Your report?
I presented the data from the device and demonstrated my position. Obviously, we changed the tool to reflect the new understanding, but
you changed the tool, so you changed your report. See? You just admitted that you changed your report. Because if you change the tool that changes the report, then you change the report. But did you notice her mannerisms in her face? It's so exaggerated.
It was unrelated to what the prosecution may have wanted.
Yeah, upgrading your tooling is different than being a tool and modifying a report. So thank you
100%.
for not. Only 79 views, Ian. So the world didn't really even see.
Oh, only 79 views. Hey, lady. Right now, I have 326 people watching this live stream, which translates to 1,132 views. I have, I believe, 19,300 views. 19,300 subscribers. You have 15,700. You only have 15,000 subscribers. You only have 700 views. So I am a bigger authority than you right now because I'm bigger than you, you know? Do you know what is one of the dumbest arguments you can make when you're online? Well, you don't matter because you don't have the subs, the views, or whatever. That's not an argument. That's what bullies do. Well, my dad is bigger than your dad. I would rather sit and have 200 quality viewers on a 19,000 sub channel that I would sit with 2.5 million subs and have 250 viewers because yeah, your channel is bigger, but you don't get any views. Thank you all so much for showing up even on a Sunday. But if you, a digital forensic expert, feels that you need to laugh at someone from only having 75 views on a twat, it makes you a bully. If you believe that opinions translates into likes and views on the twat, why? I don't like it when people I'm around play the hey, I'm bigger than you card. Well, I can't hang out with these people because they only have 500 subscribers. Or, well, your last video didn't get, so I don't know. And I'm glad to say none of the presidents, but I've met people like that in my career. When I reached out to them, they said, "You're too small." Well, sadly, I wish it was real life. I like to be smaller. But this is such a bully mentality, especially for that person who now saw this and you only got 75 views. Heather Barnhart, how many views do your tweets get? And how many of those are just because, well, we have to follow Heather because she's some kind of PR, HR, some person at Cellebrite, and this is how we do in the business. This is bullying tactics. This is belittling other people. What if Einstein had one view on his theory of relativity, would you still say, well, fuck it? It's not like we use it for anything. If Newton had 0 views on his first, hey, I got an apple in my head. That doesn't mean gravity doesn't exist. How else would people on Australia still be stuck to the world because they would be falling off into space? They are on the underside of the turtle. Only gravity will hold them there. This is so disingenuous. But it's a bullying tactic you will use against a smaller but better creator.
See that person. All right, you ready? I can't wait. I want to know what you guys think of the data. Tell Ian Whiffen to get lost and go do his job at Cellebrite.
Cellebrite. They said our name wrong. Well, that's because you have a really bad guy selling it. So people don't know your name. Instead of smiling like you just had the biggest piece of birthday cake, you should probably try and put Cellebrite a little bigger so people know how to pronounce your stupid company name.
But you did do your job.
I did.
You fixed the tool. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's another one. Seriously, I'd be curious to know how many taxpayer dollars we spent solely in an attempt to vindicate Jen McCabe. How much was paid to Ian Whiffen and Cellebrite to change their whole software to try to discredit the 227 Google search timestamp?
Okay, I'm quite happy to answer this one. My flight and my hotel was paid for twice. Other than that, I received and Cellebrite received nothing.
I love it. Okay.
No, you don't. Why are Cellebrite working for free? Why are you gifting the Commonwealth his time? Why aren't you at minimum getting his wages refurbished? Was he or wasn't he an official representative of Cellebrite when he sat in the witness chair and said, Cellebrite's product is so bad, you need my free product to interpret Cellebrite? Because Ian Whiffen said Cellebrite doesn't work on its own. You need to go to a Swiss website and download my program. Was that Cellebrite's official belief that you can't use Cellebrite without Ian Whiffen's product? Or did Ian Whiffen work for free as an expert because he wanted to go there and be the big guy? Well, we have the report, and he didn't get much more than a couple of $1,000 according to the report. So he did what would probably be, I don't know, $5,000-6,000 worth of work for free. Did he do that as an official from Cellebrite? Does Cellebrite do that in other cases? Because now I'm going to call Ian Whiffen to my case in Denmark, and I'm saying, yeah, you can have the $1,200 to fly over here. It'll be premium economy. I'll be nice to him, and I want you to testify. Yeah, sure. It's going to be a 3-day trip. It's going to cost. No. I'm going to get the Canton credit. What? Yeah, Cellebrite lets you work for free. You do pro bono expert work in cases. Actually, again, there is an itemized bill for what he got. It is on the Twitch thread. Someone, if you can find it, it's there, and it's a low amount of money. I think it's sub $3,000. So he did it for free. But if Cellebrite lets an expert work for free in Karen Reed case, are they going to do the same in the Miles King case, in the Brian Walsh case, in whatever case? From now on, they can never, ever ask money for expert testimony. You can just call them and say, hey, we need a digital forensic expert. We're going to play his flight. You're going to pay his salary. No, Aperture had nothing to do with his part of it. Her and her husband worked on Coburger's devices and was set to testify. How interesting. He did the reverse pay to play. Yeah, he played to get paid. It might be an agent's. No, I saw it on someone else's, but I can't remember earlier. Yeah. On Ian Whiffen's own ArtX website, I still maintain and develop it as I use it as my main research and validation tool. By the end of this article, I hope you'll see why. And that's the problem. Yes, Aperture used Trooper Paul's data because that's the part of the case they were handling. No, that was Welcher. Olivia Lambo did a takedown with 22,000 views. A takedown of. Thank you. But it's not a big amount of money that went to them.
Doing it because you care about the data.
Doing it
No one cares enough to work for free. This is a big pile of bullshit. Anyone here works for corporate. Would corporate ever let you go out for free without a contract and work just because you care about the data? $4.5 billion of company says, you want to go play? Yeah, you just go play. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. Oh, you're going to slack on our product and say it doesn't work without your free program? Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll pay you paycheck while you are there. From AI, a Cellebrite expert, witness trial fees can range significantly, but averages suggest hourly rates approximately $475 to $500. That's normal, low-paid expert testimony. Yeah, low-paid salary for an expert. So yeah. Total cost will also depend on the number of hours spent in prep, and experts often charge a minimum fee upfront, with some requiring a retainer of over $2,500 to work. Yeah, normally we'll hear that defense witnesses, not in this case because it was a different case, they'll normally have experts who get paid $350 an hour because it's paid by the state, so they will only allocate this amount of money. But in the Johnny Depp case, it was thousands of dollars an hour to testify. Ask Arca if they play for free. No, you should be impartial and charge. Of course you should. I found it. Are you wanting it? Can you DM it to me on the Twitch? Because you can't put links into my chat. If you can DM me, I think my DMs are open, or else just send me a notice and I'll accept it. The question is, why is Cellebrite working for free? Yeah, that's my big question. Why is Ian Whiffen being paid by Cellebrite to go testify in a case just because he cares about the data? No one works for free. I love my job. Well, I don't love my job if I don't get paid. Right now, you're paying me by being 329 people, which gives me views. At this moment, I have earned around $6 in ad revenue. I should put more ads in. No, I shouldn't. It's annoying as hell. But no one works for free. Nothing in this world is free. You will get paid some way. And no one who works for a $4.5 billion company who has experts that they rent out goes out and do it for free if they are on company time. My question is, did Ian Whiffen go on his own behalf? Because I don't believe that he was, in the first trial, was he presented as an expert working for, so there was something about the wording when he was presented. I can't remember. What's my twit? My twit is Baker Broken, I think. Yeah, Baker Broken is my twit. The Loch Ness Monster takes $250. Nobody is free. Exactly. Nobody. Fedorowski, if I was to hire you to film an intro video for me, you would also have to get paid. One of the reasons why is because then you can't come and claim copyright because I bought it from you. There will be some liabilities that could, if he just sat in there and effed up the entire place for free, that's not going to happen. Husband says Ian is bullshit. I say Ian is bullshit. Doesn't this country or state have a contract with Cellebrite? Most likely, but not for stuff like this. Normally, they'll train officers who will be Cellebrite experts when they come to testify. These experts will be the ones who do the 120-hour Cellebrite thing. Send nudes, anyone? Yes. Nudes will always work, but the payment is better. I'll take at least $250. Woohoo. I think there's something there now. I have a notion that I have 2 messages, but nothing in my inbox. Oh, Christy Pebbles. Oh, yes, it's Olivia Lambos. That's the action reconstructionist. That's not the one. That's Aperture. Sorry, I'm just reading this. This is not the one. This is Aperture. The one you sent me wasn't the one. I don't know if this is the one, but it says $9,000 is paid to Cellebrite Inc. But in relation to what, I don't know. But overall, Cellebrite in 2024 was paid $250,655 by the state. So that's also a little chunk of change. Mm-hmm. Do Olivia have the other one? Sorry. No, it's not there. I can't find it right now. Sorry. Thank you for trying to help out. Woohoo! Boobs. Don't do that. Don't do that. But let's get to this.
Because it was the right thing to do, for sure.
Yeah, and not saying who was guilty or who was not. For the record, anyone watching, I used to always ask Ian, like, so what do you think? So what do you think? Like, I just wanted his opinion, and Ian's like, well, the data shows this.
Exactly. That's all I can speak to.
All right, now this one, 54 views, okay? 54 people around the world saw this. Ian Whiffen was not credible. Come on. You're not credible, Ian, all right?
Okay, I mean, everyone has an opinion.
59 views. Ian Whiffen didn't destroy anything except at Cellebrite's credibility.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know how to respond to that. I present the data. I believe from Cellebrite's point of view, we did the right thing. And yeah, I'll die on that hill.
So this is the common, we don't know how to act on social media. We want to go out and bish-bosh back at those content creators who have attacked our guy, because I can't figure out what the play is, because I can't see any rumblings about them being bought. So it might they might be out trying to reinsert some credibility, but this is just pettiness. Oh, you only got 100 views. Oh, you only got 50 views. Yeah, your channel gets 9,000 views. Yeah, selfish. Your channel get 9,000 views, but you're also a $4.5 billion company. I bet you Olivia Lambo, who gets fewer views than you, has more influence than you do, because you are just absolutely worth nothing. Yeah, here it is. This is the right one. Thank you, Hellfish. Ian Whiffen, digital forensic expert witness, travel, no contract provided. $2,659.88. No contract provided. So they didn't even have a contract with him. Is Jess still in here? Kid, how regularly do you see stuff like this that you will hire on a hired gun who does it for free and don't need a contract? This seems really weird that, again, a publicly traded company just lets their expert run around and do whatever they want and don't even put a contract on it. Maybe it's a good thing they didn't have a contract because he was slacking Cellebrite.
Well, Cellebrite had your back 100% through and through on all of this. So I feel like our credibility skyrocketed because of your brain. So thank you.
What? Did you look at your stock prices? I'm pretty sure you didn't do that well. Your stock prices fell after the first trial with 5.8%, as I can see it. It happens, but it's rare, and I would think that he was probably paid prior to trial 1, and what was found was only the expenses for travel in trial 2 have been found. It could be, but no contract on an expert. That's the thing.
Seriously, we are trusted. You are trusted. I think our team
Yeah, but he had no contract.
of experts are more trusted now than ever before because of your testimony.
Whenever a company goes out and says, we have more credibility now than ever before, they have less credibility now than ever before. It's the same when people are saying, I condemn this action, but then you don't condemn it.
All right. Now there's a new one. Okay. This is the best one. So there's a picture of Mark Zuckerberg in his gray t-shirt and you
Okay.
from your Artex website, or your double black in your gray t-shirt. And it says, am I on crack? Or is Mark Zuckerberg and Ian Whiffen essentially the same damn person? Hashtag Karen.
This is a bad tweet. Why? Remember, we are in, he got mocked on Twitter. Again, fat guy who looks like he has Down syndrome.
Karen Reed.
My bank account would disagree.
You do look alike in this picture a little bit.
It's a very old picture.
You have the same haircut too, Ian, but you don't make as much money probably.
Guaranteed.
All right. So beyond all these mean tweets and all this ridiculousness
That's not
and
mean,
people
you
just
idiot.
being social trolls, in the end, all over the battle of that 2:27 a.m. timestamp, in the second trial, Karen Reed actually said she was not having her defense expert return because Ian Whiffen was right.
Are we going to hear from Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out, and in part from Ian Whiffen.
How does that make you feel, Ian, that Karen said your name? People just being social trolls. In the end, all over the battle of that 2:27 a.m. timestamp, in the second trial, Karen Reed actually said she was not having her defense expert return because Ian Whiffen was right.
Are we going to hear from Richard Green in this trial?
No.
Why not?
I believe the evidence is all out and in part from Ian Whiffen.
How does that make you feel, Ian, that Karen said
The evidence is all out in part from Ian Whiffen. This is my third language. Please help me out. In what way does that sentence say Ian Whiffen was right? She just said some of the evidence had come in through him. This is, again, a $4.5 billion company that is doing this for PR.
your name on the screen and said Ian Whiffen was right?
She didn't say that.
So I mean, it was validation. I was already confident in my answer. I knew I was right with it. I was disappointed that the defense didn't put their expert on the stand to put his opinion across and to have that kind of debate and to evidence their position. But Karen saying that I was right is a close second. I'll take it.
She
I
didn't
love
say
it.
that.
And I
you
can't
idiot.
speak on behalf of Karen Reed, but how you did your report and the level of detail on what was on the device versus what was on your test device and how sure you were, that had to prove to her that she didn't need an expert of her own because you were an expert for everyone.
This is like trying to listen to Mama Llama go through why. No, I'm going to show you that in a bit. No, I'm going to show you now because this is exactly the same as you all know who Mama Llama is, right? One of the many weirdos on the anti-Karen Reed side. She made this absolute wonderful legal statement. All of Karen Reed's motions to dismiss was denied, except for the negligent infliction of emotional distress claim brought by John's niece. That means the judge essentially found as evidence the conduct was deliberate. No. That means that this can go on. That it's potentially evidence could show up. Not accidental. It doesn't in any way, anyone who read this and believes this should stop. This is absolutely not what the judge did, saying that this was actually not an accident. While one negligence-based claim was dropped, the judge left intact the claims alleging reckless, intentional infliction of emotional distress, the more serious standard. In other words, the court is saying the case isn't about simple negligence, it's about intentional harm. A win for the O'Keefes. No. This is just that, okay, you said enough things that could potentially be something. We move on to discovery. This is the same this lady is doing. She is totally taking everything out of a context and just making up bullshit in some weird attempt to try and make everyone believe that Ian Whiffen was actually a Karen Reed hero. This is straight up lying to you all. Straight up lying. The defense didn't need to call an expert. They had a really bad expert in the first trial. I thought he was probably the worst of all the experts that attended. He had no personal skills and no way to talk about his project. I was happy when they didn't bring him back because he was horrendously bad. I'm sorry to say that. Whoever picked him up as the digital forensic guy did a bad job. He couldn't tell anyone anything about any of his findings. He was way too technical. He's probably a brilliant guy, but he's a shitty witness. That's why they didn't need to bring him back, because Ian Whiffen didn't convince the jury. He left so much reasonable doubt there by his, well, it could have happened there or then or maybe or who. That's why they didn't need to bring in another witness.
I hope so. I tried to provide a balanced opinion. Like, I wasn't necessarily there for prosecution. I was there for the data. And whoever it helped, I don't really care. I'm just presenting the data that's there.
I love that. Well, Ian, seriously, thank you for being Cellebrite's top expert in my mind. Seriously, and I'll say that because I saw social media or some public thing recently that Jared and I own Cellebrite. So Ian, you are our favorite expert as an owner of Cellebrite, because you can't believe everything you read, but all your work that you put into.
Is she an owner of Cellebrite? What? Did she say she was the owner of Cellebrite?
Or some public thing recently that Jared and I own Cellebrite. So Ian, you are Cellebrite's top expert in my mind. Seriously, and I'll say that because I saw social media.
Someone said that's probably related to the Coburg case, because there was a lot of craziness out there as well. Okay, good thing I went back, because
some public thing recently that Jared and I own Cellebrite. So Ian, you are our favorite expert as an owner of Cellebrite, because you can't believe everything you read, but all your work that you put into this, all of the efforts, the education that you gave us along the way on your testing, I don't even know that you even consider that, but how much you educated all of us along the way has been phenomenal. We're lucky to be on your team. We love the work that you do. Thank you all for tuning in, but Ian, most importantly, thank you. We appreciate you at Cellebrite.
You should, because Ian Whiffen has been nothing like a big win for you guys at Cellebrite. Cellebrite is probably gonna have a great day tomorrow when they open the stock. Well, no, it's Columbus Day tomorrow, so they're not gonna.
This case is like a super.
Shut up. They're not gonna open the stock market tomorrow, but the after market trading doesn't look super great. So just if we take a look at that. As I said, no financial advice. I don't know anything about money, but this is how Cellebrite have performed over the last day. That looks like someone might be out there taking some yeah. Oh, she's the senior director of digital intelligence. Well, she's not a human intelligence person then. Exactly. That's another thing, Bridget. They didn't need Richard Green, and after the first trial, they probably went around on the YouTubes and all the places and saw that people just didn't get what he was selling. So why bring him back and confuse more people? That was the most bizarre presentation. This is what companies do when they try to rehabilitate someone. This is a pure push to clean the algorithm. This is why I will change the description of my video now to the hashtags Ian Whitten, Karen Reed, and Cellebrite hoax or worst PR or something like that. So I can try and push it into the algorithm to combat this bullshit. Mike should do the same with his video from yesterday, because we have bigger channels than you. So we are smarter than you. And YouTube's algorithm will actually work on that, because so many of you wonderful people have been here watching it. This is just, again, it's a cleanup job. Anyone who watches this and thinks, oh, this is good PR, don't know anything about PR. She's hoping that no one saw the trial and isn't smart enough to listen to what Karen Reed actually said. Team Reed won. Team Reed has a big following. So let's just write and be pro Karen Reed all of a sudden, even though that we were on the team who tried to get her convicted. Well, I was just there for the data. Nan, how many experts do you hire who do it for the fun of it, for the data? It must be really really amazing that you get a free expert, especially because this expert was shitting on the own product he was selling. That's really, 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 really weird. Thank you so much, Nan, for becoming a muffin tip. I bet Google was laughing about Whiffen explanation at the 227 search. Yeah, that's probably not the smartest thing. Oh, and someone sent me her tweet. Her last tweet was about, of course, Taylor Swift. That got 441 views. When she tags her, she retweets her company, that gets some views. But she's doing okay, but she's not massively up there compared to all the people she's attacking. But she got a lot of punch from going into the Koberger trial as well. But that's fine. That's fine. Of course, they should do whatever they feel like. The data is the data. Thank you, Holly Mac. But again, I've never seen any company go this hard in the paint to try and resurrect someone for being a shitty employee. I'm a pig kissing expert, but I still need to get paid. Yeah, as I said, no matter how much you love your work, you'll never work for free. I hire experts who care about the money. Yeah, because if you pay them, you can say, hey, buddy, snap out of it. I need you to talk so the dumbest person in the room, yes, which would be me, understands you. Don't do all of this college crap that no one understands. Come on now, I pay you plenty money. Courtney, we were just talking about a horrible PR scheme, but I'm going to jump off because it's close to 6. I need to go make myself some dinner. Thank you all so much for joining my TED Talk of how not to run a YouTube channel, how not to have audio, how not to have lighting, and how not to try and come back from a pretty devastating PR mishap that happened because your buddy went down and lied about what, if any, the data showed, because the data is the data. Everyone, go out there, enjoy the rest of the Sunday. For those of you who have the day off tomorrow because it's Columbus Day, enjoy Columbus Day. I might there's a DP case appeal that's coming up tomorrow. Someone who bashulated his wife with a hammer or hired someone to do it is having his DP looked at because the other case in Texas is taking a day off. So I might look at that and see what that's all about. A guy who I got the DP, but no life, I believe. But he's getting another look at it because the accomplice said, "I only did it to take a deal." Could be interesting, could not be. Yes, it's YouTube speak. We need to say it. It's Thanksgiving in Canada tomorrow. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I don't know which Indians you stole food from, like the Americans, but us Vikings, when we originally found America, we just went over there, bashed a few heads, and married into the population. That's why there are blue-eyed Indians out there, or Native Americans. Sorry, that's how we are to name them. But that's from the Vikings banging whatever we could when we were out sailing. Sailing is lonely, just like me.